Disgraced FBI agent Peter Strzok received large amounts of funding from the Central Intelligence Agency, according to a bombshell investigation. Strzok, a central figure in the spying and wiretapping scandal of President Trump, grew up in Africa while his father worked on various CIA projects. True Pundit.com reports, now, as the spying and wiretapping scandal of the FBI has implicated former CIA Director John Brennan and Barack Obama's CIA, questions have emerged about the FBI Strzok's connections to the CIA, and that of his family too. The Inspector General is probing many facets of FBI corruption, along with House and Senate committees. That includes CIA involvement in the FBI spying scandals, and Strzok's alleged role as a clandestine liaison between FBI and CIA. True Pundit reported Brennan's involvement in September 2017, and now, 9 months later, others are asking questions about the FBI's involvement with the CIA with what amounts to an apparent clandestine operation to unseat President Trump, or make sure he was never elected in the first place. The FBI's Strzok bragged in internal FBI text messages about obtaining a CIA coin, often awarded for meritorious service to intelligence agents, from and personally signed by former CIA Director John Brennan in 2017. Now Strzok is accused of working with CIA cutout Stefan Halper to set traps for Trump associates. How did Strzok know John Brennan, and what was his involvement with FBI operations linked to Trump campaign skullduggery? FBI and CIA operations are separated for a reason. Peter Strzok Sr., the father of the FBI's Peter Strzok, served 21 years in the Army before taking a post in Africa for Catholic Relief Services, a charity with bona fide international links to the CIA and funding from the United Nations. According to records, Strzok worked for CRS starting in 1981 and lived abroad with his family, a young Peter, in Africa. Prior to taking the position in Africa, the elder Strzok worked in Vietnam, the Middle East, and specifically Iran for an unknown U.S. contractor. Strzok stayed in Iran until Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini was installed in 1979 in the hope of stabilizing the tumultuous region and political climate during the American hostage crisis as well. Records show, after leaving Iran, Strzok took the African post with CRS, but it was not Strzok's first U.S.-backed mission in Iran. In a recent 2016 article in the Fayetteville Observer, he detailed an earlier mission in Iran, as well as his navigating Russian influence in that country, predating his private work in Iran by nearly 2 decades. Strzok wrote, in 1965, I was an Army engineer captain assigned to the U.S. military mission to Iran, fresh out of Persian language studies at Monterey, California. One of my jobs was to accept civic action schools being built from funds accrued from sales by Iran of food aid provided by the U.S. These schools were being built in border areas, concentrating on nomadic groups such as the Kurds, Baloch, Turkoman, Azeris and Afghans, under the theory that educated nomads tend toward sedentary living with reduced security concerns. One was built in Marivan, a Kurdish village hard up against the Iraqi border. In October 1965, I flew from Tehran, in a de Havilland order, to meet with contractors and Tehran Engineer District staff, to turn over the Marivan school for transfer to the government to Iran. The program Strzok headed in Africa for CRS in the 1980s was funded by federal aid to and from USAID. Records show, USAID maintains it is an independent aid organization. However, its history is entwined and entangled deeply with the CIA. Just like Catholic Relief Services, both organizations have embedded covert CIA operatives in international outposts to carry out operations ranging from intelligence gathering to covert ops. The CIA funds various covert operations through various front organizations, including known CIA operations groups, which fuel funds to various non-governmental agencies, NGOs, which then use such funds to achieve American intelligence objectives worldwide. Often criticized for its involvement with the U.S. intelligence apparatus, CRS is a documented CIA-linked NGO, and USAID is the government-funded equivalent. The CRS program in Africa headed by Strzok provided school lunches to children and helped teach local how to farm and raise cash crops. According to reports, the elder Strzok has never tried to hide his involvement with CRS. In fact, in the 1980s, he often boasted about the work he was doing in Africa, as well as the fact Peter Jr. was living in Africa before he came stateside at age 12 to enroll in prep school in the United States, according to records. Now, however, his son's involvement in an apparent intelligence plot aimed at harming Trump's political career has thrust the elder Strzok's career into the spotlight. The FBI's Strzok served as chief of the counterespionage section during the FBI's investigation into Hillary Clinton's email server, rising to become the deputy assistant director of the division. He led the FBI's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 United States elections. In 2017, Strzok was the top FBI agent assigned to special counsel Robert Mueller's probe of alleged collusion of Trump's presidential campaign and the Russian government, but Strzok was fired from Mueller's team when damaging text messages between Strzok and FBI lawyer Lisa Page surfaced where the duo were highly critical of Trump. Often, they ridiculed Trump. After working with U.S. aid-funded programs for CRS in Africa, the elder Strzok stayed active in Africa for the last 30 years, running the agency to facilitate the growth of rural organizations. Records show, the non-profit group, founded by the elder Strzok, has focused on working with rural organizations in Africa and Haiti, according to the corporation's 2009 tax return filed with the IRS. In 2010, Strzok's IRS tax filing said his agency to facilitate the growth of rural organizations organized meetings with University of Minnesota agencies and forest product enterprises to provide safe, low-cost fuel to Haitian earthquake victims, provided briefings to World Bank and Inter-American Bank staff on Program of Action for Haitian earthquake victims. According to tax returns available for agency to facilitate the growth of rural organizations, the nonprofit's income, expenses, revenue and assets between 2007 and 2010 were all under $2,000 US. In 2003 to 2004, the group provided grants to schools in northern Iraq for improvements. According to tax returns, that year, the group took in $32,000 in contributions and revenue along with an apparent $5,000 grant from the USDA, filings show. In a data sheet included with the tax return, Strzok said the agency to facilitate the growth of rural organizations was ceasing operations, after 19 years. See attachment. The datasheet detailed Strzok's involvement in international aid for decades. Tax returns for the group prior to 2001 were not available. The group did recommence operations after 2004 based on tax returns filed from 2007 through 2010, records show. In 2013, Strzok Sr. was quoted by a TV news station reporting on African poverty and identified him as president of the agency to facilitate the growth of rural organizations.